Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage it's time for another little chat about Jaguar Lifestyle. Today I'm going for a loaf of bread. Well, it's the last day in January. It's 8 degrees on the gauge here, but no way is it 8 degrees. See, that's because the car's been in the garage. I reckon it's about 3, maybe 4. The top's off. And I'm going for a loaf of bread. I can walk to my local shop, but where would be the fun in that? The year-round use of convertibles is quite a peculiarly British thing. I'm not saying other people don't do it elsewhere in the world, but it's quite interesting that per capita the UK buys more convertible cars than anywhere else in the world. And that's not because of our beautiful sunshine. We have amongst the most variable weather anywhere in the world. It's not just a story to say that it's common to be able to experience sunshine, rain, fog, wind and snow on the same day. We're very seasonal. We have very distinct summer, spring, autumn, winter. But when all of those start, who can say? How long summer will be, who can say? So we're always kind of ready for anything to enjoy the best of what the weather can offer. And I think that's why this sort of thing So it's just a really bright, beautiful afternoon. Despite Storm Corwin last night, blowing down winds, closing all the rail lines, power lines, everything else. But this morning's quite sparkly. So I thought, after my lunch, I'll go and fetch a loaf of bread. But not from the local shop. I'll just go a little meander and fetch bread from somewhere else. The Union flag is still flying over the Coast Guard's point. I didn't think it would be this morning after the winds we had last night. But I think my attitude is another good starting point for a conversation on the Jaguar Lifestyle. In my younger days, I was just as balmy and would definitely go out in convertibles in all sorts of weathers, but that was because I was very hardy. And I'd take convertible kit cars out with no discernible heater and put on a sheepskin British flying jacket, the really big ones, and enjoy the bitterness of it all, just because it's fun. I wouldn't do that now, and I think again that's a good indicator to the Jaguar appeal and the Jaguar lifestyle, because here I am in my convertible Sport / GT, insert your own preference, having a beautiful drive down a coast road. I'm relatively warm, partly to my clothing, partly because good heater in a car with excellent wind deflection. Also got my new Adamesh wind deflector up behind me, which is working beautifully. And it's no real effort to do this. Jaguar just does everything so easily, so stylishly, so effortlessly. And I've got no fear about pulling up with the top down in this car anywhere and getting any, "What are you doing? It's freezing." Because if they're a car enthusiast, they'll know what I'm up to. There'll be people who admire the car. I'm surrounded by Brits, remember, so the idea of putting a roof down on a cold day, or even a wet day as long as you're moving, is not ridiculous. I think all that is part of this mindset, this Jaguar lifestyle. My car's quite dirty at the moment. It's not been driven much because of the bad weather, and my garage isn't very dust proof. And I've been doing various jobs on her, which mean I've mauled the bodywork. So she's not looking her prettiest. And I wish she did. But again, that wouldn't put me off a drive out, because I'm not driving to show off. I'm not impressing anybody else on purpose, though quite commonly, as we talked about before, we get nice conversations and comments. I'm driving because I enjoy it. I enjoy just sitting here in this beautiful car, watching beautiful Lincolnshire glide past. And the cooler weather just gives me an excuse to wear some of my favourite things. Because again, as a Brit, we very much believe there is no bad weather, there is only bad clothing. And part of the Jaguar lifestyle, in my opinion, and the mindset, whether you've got the Jag or not, is almost irrelevant. The Jaguar mindset or lifestyle is owning nice things that really last. Just distracted by a hawk just flying over the road there. Made of beautiful, sustainable materials. Pheasant just wandered across in front of me. And things that I like the look of. I think others probably like the look of. But I'm wearing them because they're timeless classics. So, start with the fact that I'm wearing gloves. I do own a pair of driving gloves. But they're a hangover from previous vehicles, if I'm honest. Because I used to drive a lot of kit cars and vintage cars with Motor Lita steering wheels, so they're thin, solid wood rims with rivets, and the wind protection's not great. You don't get a great grip, your hands get tired, and wind chill. Driving gloves are a good idea. In the Jag, less so, but I do own these things. And these are a pair of genuine leather, genuine bar bore gloves. I've owned these possibly 10 years, and they're beautifully warm. They have a sheepskin liner. They have side gussets which give your fingers the space to move. They're just wonderful things. Very warm, but tactile. You can feel what you're doing. And people will often say, oh, well, you know, why would you ever wear gloves in a Jag? Well, obviously this one's a convertible, but I wear these when I go out in my XJ as well, because surely you want to be wearing almost nothing, just a shirt, even in cold weather. If you're in a Jag, that should be uncomfortable and trussed up. Great concept. But I live in the UK, I get up at 4 AM, I get in a car that's frozen. I'm going to be wearing these when I get in it. And I'm going to be wearing these before I get out of it, because they're filled with fuel or something, because they could be all sorts of weathers. So, cooler weather, I'm generally wearing these things. Wonderful. Listen to that engine. Stage 2 adder mesh, for those who want to know. That's the exhaust system I have on the normally aspirated 4-litre V8. In my opinion, there is no better sound. Maseratis, I must admit, I admire the sound. Quattroportes with sport systems do sound amazing, but they're also just a little bit, look at me, everywhere. Even with this sport system on, this open pipe system, this is only as noisy as I want it to be. It doesn't demand attention, it's for me to enjoy. Well, I'm back, going to fetch a loaf of bread, which I could have walked for, turned into 10-minute drive, little wander on the beach, come back past the local shop, back in the garage, That's Jaguar Lifestyle. So just whilst I'm dressed in this particular attire, as we talked about before, I'm no fashion expert. I just know what I wear and what I like, and people are generally interested to compare notes. So I mentioned these. So as we said, barbell gauntlet style gloves with a fleece lining, studded on the back so you can tension them. They're gusseted down the sides of the fingers, so lots of space, easy to wear, they don't pinch. And yeah, fully lined, so beautifully warm, and with that brand that I trust. And I say these I've had many years, so I like those, and I think they're a good choice for a actual cold weather glove. And we'll talk more in a separate episode about things like coats, because I know a lot of people are quite into their jackets. But safe to say, for actual cold weather use with the Jag, what I like is aviator style jackets. This one's what we would call a walker or a trail coat, meaning it's a 3/4 length leather jacket. You can get the similar sort of things, but in wax cotton as well. I don't own a wax cotton jacket. Ironically enough, the dog does. It's got a partridge jacket. But I don't, and that is something I would like to get for the future. But this is a leather jacket. This one's a Pride Park thing. It's got the flap, which means you keep warm. It's got pockets for cargo, which are separate from the pockets for keeping your hands warm. And it's just smart enough, classy enough, if you like, for me to feel it goes with my Jag. But I wear this jacket in the winter more than any other because it's brilliant. It's reasonably water repellent. It's completely windproof. It's so comfortable and just a joy to wear. And again, had it ears, we'll have it for many years to come, because it's the sort of thing that wears beautifully. We'll look at those sorts of things in a separate episode. Also got American style flight jackets, etc. And what do you wear for formal type stuff if you're taking on the Jag lifestyle in a winter? And headgear, I very often in the summer wear a peak cap because it keeps the sun out your eyes, hence TTG hats. If I'm underneath the car, I very much wear a beanie, hence TTG beanies. But if I'm out and about enjoying myself and it's cooler, one of my preferred choices is a flat cap, because it's a very British thing, but there's lots of different flat caps. This style is called a driver for obvious reasons. It's best sort of cap for a car because it's got this A or V profile. It does have a vestigial brim, but it's not separate, and it's vented and it's narrow, and that's why they're called driver's hats. Lower profile, narrower, they don't catch the wind, they don't come off. So yeah, very British headwear. And this one's a Debenhams one, a large department store in the UK, so a good quality thing, but not a very expensive thing. I do own a couple in tweed as well, just because I like hats, I collect them. Anyway, enough of that. Just thought I'd share, going to fetch the bread. See you all very soon. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.